Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to DuckTales Remastered. So we got past the first level and now we're at the level select for the rest of the levels, so let's go to the Amazon. Do I want to travel? Yes.
Get Launchpad on the horn.
I will say,
Amazon jungle to find the
this is a particularly large... So there's Launchpad from Pilot Wings or Tailspin. Yeah, Tailspins was the spin-off cartoon. This game is incredibly loud.
No problemo.
With no...
It's one of my favorite principles of aerodynamics. Oh, say, you got your radio, Mr. McD?
Aye, of course I do.
Great. Then I'll be your eyes in the sky.
Oh, I'd be happy if you just keep your eyes on the sky for once. What an airhead.
So this might be the end of the other kids.
Legends claim the king's scepter was locked away in a giant temple of the clouds, and it should be dead ahead.
Gee, Mr. McD, I see a lot of clouds, but no temple.
You wouldn't, Launchpad. The legend says the temple was hidden away from all but King Manco Capquack himself. But there's bound to be a way to reveal it buried somewhere in this overgrown salad bowl. And I'm not leaving till I find it.
Yeah, I imagine this is the end of most of the other characters, so we won't need any like voice actors. Press start to bring up the map in the pause menu. Thanks. So you have like no control in the audio, and I have it at 30% of 100 right now. We can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items, and there are exactly 8 inventory slots. So each one of those white dots, I assume, is a special item of some sort. Alright, so these guys seem like they're gonna be a little bit more of a hassle than the Beagle Boys. So yeah, one thing I would like to see if this was a more modernized game, which it probably should be, is a distinct... What did I just collect?
I found an ancient coin depicting a nightingale.
You haven't stumbled across a pizza joint down there, have you, Mr. McD? Kinda hungry up here.
I'd like the voice acting to be louder, and I'd like the audio to be less. Like the audio is, I imagine, a major part of the nostalgia, but I suspect there's some issues here. Alright, so what do you do? Let's do that. Let's see. So when I am going through all of this, I'm invincible. Good to know.
Another coin, and this one has an inscription of an eagle.
Okay. So it seems like what I'm gonna have to do is go one way and then go the other. And yeah, it does seem like you just are gonna take some damage all the time. And that's quite an animation there. But they give you such a large amount of invincibility frames.
A coin bearing the image of the Queen's horse.
At least on easy. Now, if you're playing this on normal and you're taking twice the amount of damage, I could see how this would become a game that's only for people who've played the original DuckTales game, I imagine these are remasterings of levels that previously existed, and not just direct copies of things that previously existed, because there's a little bit of simplification, it seems like, that's been added here, and I kind of appreciate it. You only take half a heart of damage, even though that animation is incredibly high. So I can't hit any of these, and you still definitely have this feeling like you're just being handed health.
Tripped over it. This place is a mess. Where's Mrs. Beakley when you need her?
There's something 80s about a rich person not being willing to even clean up after himself, and so he's just got Mrs. Beakley to do everything for him. Alright. Like, when you fall, it would be really nice if you could grab your hat and use that as a slowing down process, or if you had like a double jump or something, just an air jump.
An ancient coin with the image of a scythe. It must represent a good harvest.
This is Launchpad, calling Mr. McD.
What is it, Launchpad?
I'm running a little low on fuel up here.
Well, where are the extra fuel canisters?
Well, that's why I'm calling you, boss. I checked the glove compartment, but all I found was gloves.
Oh, you'd best find those fuel canisters, or the next thing you'll be flying is a model airplane.
Okay. Last time I asked you for help.
Is that a promise?
So you can see how Scrooge is kind of this perpetual jerk character, and that's really where you needed like Huey, Dewey, and Louie to be in the story, is that you needed these really nice kids as a counterpoint towards fighting the greedy desires of Scrooge. But this is so easy. You just run here, and then you have invisible iframes, and then the iframes have it. Or you do something like this, and I guess if you're bouncing on the spikes, you're not even going to get hurt. So you don't even have to play like I was playing.
Found another one, and it depicts the ruling might of a spear.
Yeah.
This is Launchpad, Mr. McD. Come in, Mr.
Launchpad, what was that?
Nothing, boss. I'm sure nobody was using that tree anyway. Except maybe them.
So the Launchpad is getting attacked and crashing. So interesting, we have like a story that's going and getting triggered with every collectible. That is interesting to say the least, because it gives you this opportunity to tell a story in more places compared to, let's see, there's nothing over there, compared to like what you would have experienced in Shovel Knight, where the story was either at the very, very end of a cutscene of a level, or it was inside of a inside of a city.
You know, I bet those Incans could have minted a whole lot more coins if they hadn't tried to make each one unique.
So maybe you would get more money if you didn't take as much damage as I was taking. That is a possibility. And look, we found some secret. Alright. I don't know why these things disappear so fastly. This would be kind of a hard game though to play, I would say, even if you were playing it on a tablet or something, it still feels like it'd be a little too difficult. And I guess you just avoid these guys? I guess that's what you're doing. And that's kind of hard. Yeah, it's a little hard to avoid these guys.
I didn't get to be number one by back and down.
Yep, and I might die here, but what does that really mean? Doesn't mean anything. Because you die and then maybe I'd reset back at the beginning of the level. This will be an interesting checkpoint test. I guess I could use the B to get over certain sections if necessary. Alright. Alright, so now I want to go up here, and now I want to fall over here. And you have to press up to grab the ledge, but grab the vines. Vines are kind of oddly yellow. So yeah, this will be the last collectible, and then the rest of this might be just a big chase sequence.
Aha! This coin bears an image of the scales of justice. Just what I need to help me find the scepter.
So like almost everything you've collected is a symbol of death, I think.
That's a good question.
Well, I don't have all day. What was your thought?
Come to think of it, I forgot.
Launchpad, were you dropped on your head much as a child?
All the time. Why?
Yeah, this is in a weird position because it's a game where people who would be playing this game would be nostalgic for the cartoon, which means the characters have to act like the characters in the cartoon, whereas I would probably want to modernize and rewrite them and do the new cartoon. So I guess if I hadn't done this, you would have to go back and get all the cute coins.
On this stone slab, and there's 8 circular notches around it.
Sounds great. Does it tell us how to find the treasure?
Like I totally would say, yeah, let's have a replace one of the Huey, Dewey, and Louie characters with a female character, or just add a new female character. I would definitely try to soften Scrooge. I would definitely try Launchpad's to write him to be a bit smarter. I mean, he is the pilot, so he should be smart enough, smarter than the average person who can't fly a plane. Or at least he's be a specialist.
Maybe if I surround him with them.
See, they're just talking a little too long.
Hey, maybe you need to say the magic words. Or maybe not.
So, yeah. A little too much lines of dialogue stopping the gameplay when it would have been
And that
nicer to have a walk
it
and
must be
talk.
pointing to the Temple of the Clouds. But how am I going to get across?
And his lips don't
Mr.
move.
McD.
So. Alright. So you can't go any further than that.
Beam of light.
And I'm guessing if I jump down, he'll just reset himself. So if you want to get everything, you've got to take the hard way. But if you just want to beat the game, you got to take the easy way. Oh man, boy was there a section that I played. I only really played Shovel Knight for a brief like hour and a half, and even in that, boy was there a section that was the exact opposite of this, where you just would have had to jump on these platforms, and that would have been that. Interesting. So sometimes they're at head height, and sometimes the collectibles are not at head height. This feels like something that should have like a New Game Plus that just shows you where all the collectibles are by default. Like, I can't really see a good reason to not let this happen. Let it happen that way. Now, if we pause, we still got like 2 other scenes.
Whoa, I did it.
So this is, each level is longer than the tutorial, which makes sense. But it does feel like you're, if you're only gonna play this once, you're gonna spend 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours playing the game. I have no problem with short experiences, but it is kind of a hard value proposition when you probably look at this, because I vaguely recall this one costing like $20, and that's high. That is undeniably a large amount of gold. No, large amount of real world money to spend for 2.5 hours of entertainment. So I would put this on the category of games that get on sale, and I believe I did get this on sale, so I don't think I paid $20 for it. But even if I had paid $10, that's running up against a lot of other games that have been on sale. A lot of this is copyrighted 2013, so I assume it came out in 2013. I don't know if that's accurate though. How am I supposed to get up there? Ooh, I get run over and die. Do I lose any gold when I die? Nope, I don't. Alright, well that stopped that. Yeah, I feel like this might be a game that was hoping for a lot of profit and a lot of sales on nostalgia, but overpriced itself because of that. Whereas if this was a game that was free due on like PlayStation Plus or Microsoft Game Pass, I think everybody would play this game. I have 1,000,000 gold, and there's Mrs. Beasley.
Mrs. Bigley. Now, where did you
Mrs.
come
Bigley.
Why, from home, of course. I had
Beakley.
to be sure you were all
That's her
right
name.
in this filthy place.
But you do have to probably do
Marvelous
something
job as usual, Mrs. Beaky.
You know,
with
Mr.
this
McDuck,
character.
These giant stone obelisks would make wonderful souvenirs for the boys.
Like, so she just gives you health, which is nice, but I don't think your health is ever going to increase. That just put us in the... We just went in a circle. Getting a bunch of health is not as useful as getting individual bits of health here and there. And there seems to be no reward and no motivating factor to kill all the creatures in an area. They are just either in your way or they aren't. So your only main goal is to reach every little square inch. Yeah, it really feels like there should be a glitter or something to show you where everything is, but then the game might get a little too simplistic if that were the case, but I think the game is already pretty simplistic on easy, so they might as well just show me where all the collectibles are. It's a weird thing when you like compare it to Super Mario Brothers, where the coins for the most part are all over the place, and certainly Super Mario Brothers has an element where the interesting. Look at this. The right below where I'm standing, when you move the camera over here, the gap gets wider, and the object kind of looks like it's shaking. Well, I don't think it is. I think it's just a tilt shift perspective that the cameras are doing. So I don't know if this is designed to just make you die or be very low on health if you were playing on a harder difficulty, or what. But yeah, back to Mario Brothers comparison. Yeah, most coins were visible as a way of breadcrumbing. You don't really need breadcrumbing here in this level so far. They've been completely linear, but then you have a variety of gameplay styles where in Mario you could just get the coins you see, or the coins on your path, or the coins or try and get all the coins. Here you don't need to do any of that. I imagine the original DuckTales had lives, and getting coins might have meant more lives. That would be a guess I would make, at least. Alright. So it's just so strange to have. Oops. If the coins disappear, though, if the gold and the jewelry and all that stuff disappears, that immediately tells you that getting 100% of all the stuff is not actually a goal. That they don't care about that. Otherwise, the coins would be persistent, and I would prefer them to be persistent. I don't think we're going to upgrade our health.
There it is, the King's
Or maybe we
Scepter.
get one health upgrade after each level.
Oh, this was easier to find than a penny in a parking lot.
And so now we've got the boss fight,
Kilts, what was that?
where we'll have to figure out the pattern and... Oh. The pattern is mostly just jump him on his head and don't get stun locked by the ground pounding. Alright, now we see. This is cool. Like, this is more thought out than what I've seen with even the first fight with Shovel Knight, or the second boss in Shovel Knight. It's interesting to have bad guys that have more abilities than the main character, so it really is just all about getting very good about bouncing on your pogo, and that's what the game originally always was, so that's totally acceptable. I can see myself losing here. I have 1.5 health, and a lot of these things strike me as they might do permanent damage. And then it just gave me health back. It's weird that the enemy boss would have invincibility frames. Oops. So no, that just did 1/2 health damage too. And you really gotta love when you choose easy on a game and it actually is easy. Like, I will remind people, in case you're not familiar, I have a bit of arthritis in my fingers, so playing a game like this where it would be just holding down the X button a lot or mashing buttons a lot is not something I particularly seek out to do or enjoy doing.
Mr. McD, this place has fallen to pieces.
No, I'm not leaving without that scepter.
So,
Get us out of here, Launchpad.
so that was all cutscene.
I cannot believe we came all this way for nothing.
And I believe this is how most of the cartoon episodes will go.
What's the meaning of this?
They
Outsider, our prophecies have long foretold that our ancient city would one day be returned to us. For hundreds of years we have waited. And
so
at last
somehow
that
he's gonna
day
be the good
has
guy.
come.
You mean you're not mad at me?
Mad? Quite the contrary, feathered one. Is there anything we can do to repay you?
Well, now that you mention it, I did come here looking for an ancient scepter. I didn't suppose...
Does it look like this? It fell from the temple.
All that climbing for nothing, eh, Mr. McD?
Bless me, bagpipes, the scepter of the ancient
So he's gonna
king.
take a
It is yours. Take
important
it.
historical artifact from his culture, the cultural people.
After all, it was just the old king's back scratcher.
I guess it wasn't so important. Stage clear. So weird, you turn out to be the good guy. So this is the first real level. We got 21 of this. Then you get 1 million for the scepter alone. There's an achievement for getting 10 million gold, which seems very doable.
The scepter of the Incan king. I tell you, boys, there's something special about this treasure.
Really, Uncle Scrooge? Yeah, it just looks like an old back scratcher to us.
You boys need to learn some respect for the finer things in life. Now, if you're done having fun at your old uncle's expense, help me decide where we should go next.
So you just jump back to... I guess you have two options now. So we can go this way, or this way. So let's see what this is. Are we going for a swim in the vault? I think canonically the money vault was not connected to his house. It was a huge building next to his mansion. So you can swim in the vault, and I'm guessing as you get more gold, the idea is to get the vault higher. And that's, I guess, the biggest dive you could ever do into the vault. There's something weird about the way this animates. The chain waves back and forth in an awkward way where I think it would be better if it was just the same. And then there's a lot of brightness here, and then it gets a little bit darker, and that makes the screen feel like it's almost putting a fisheye lens on the perspective, on the image. And then this over here takes us, okay, to this point. And that's what I thought we were going to unlock things with. So characters wise, you could unlock each of the characters for an ever increasing amount of gold. And I think we'll do all of this at the end of the game. The category hasn't been unlocked. Spend money on the gallery purchases to unlock more categories. Alright. So we can't even look at any of this other stuff. And it's not just art and visual, it's also the music. So yeah, let's just take a moment and I guess do this. So we'll just go in a linear fashion. And it's doing the right thing by saying, putting the A button, the button that you would press if you accidentally double tapped A, on the nose so you don't spend money you didn't mean to. I guess if you look in the top left, that is what the Scrooge McDuck looked like in the original game. And that's what Launchpad looked like. And then Huey, Dewey, and Louie are all put together. And yeah, the original cartoon did have this character, but she was like added in like the 3rd season or something. She definitely was not in every episode. And there are just, it was a very dude, boy, male heavy thing. Oh yeah, some of this is just gonna come right back to me, and I'm like, oh yeah, this. I forget the name of this character, but it's like the cousin of Scrooge McDuck, and he has this superhero robot outfit that he puts on, and he acts. He saves the day. So I wonder if he'll play a part in the actual game. And then I believe there was an episode around a cave duck, and this is another character. Man, yeah, I wish I could name these characters. They're doing this poorly because I'm having bits of nostalgia here, but they're not bothering to even put their names anywhere. Like it would have been super easy to say Mrs. Beakley, and then Duckworth, I think, is the guy's name. We very possibly won't see the Beagle Boys for the rest of the game. So, yeah. Let's see. Here we have a visual glitch. It says, do you want to purchase this item for 355,000? And then it says 150,000. Yeah, it's like visually screwing up with some kind of overlay system and shadow system. It's kind of pathetic that this is Scrooge McDuck, I believe. No? Forget what his name is. Scrooge McDuck is the main character. And that means there's some kind of animation that they programmed so poorly here that there's no justification for that. Yeah, and here's the bad girl character. I vaguely recall at some point they did a mini series of episodes that was just Homer's the Odyssey, we can purchase one more thing, which is just a collection of all the bad guys from the Amazon. So what does that really tell you is, I would assume there's a decent chance we won't even see most of these characters show up in the rest of the game. And then this is probably going to be the final boss for the next level, and this will be all the enemies for the next level, final boss for the next level, all the enemies for the next level, final boss for the next level, all the enemies for the next level, and final boss for that final level, and enemies for the final level. What's interesting here is they didn't even bother to animate the big skull statue head that we fought at the end of the game. So unless more of that is in the concept art or sketches or pencil renders, they've really broken this all down in an interesting system. But you still don't really have any new options that you can do. So now I guess I'd be lower on gold. So maybe I'm a little bit lower, but I don't think so.
Onward and upward.
So yeah, look right now in the top left corner, for instance. It's bright and full. When it gets darker in this middle part, there's still like a circular light source
Ugh, my arms are getting
that makes the center of the screen bright, and the top left corner and every corner seems a lot darker. And then when you get up here, it seems like the lighting is adjusted to not do that so much. So it does give this round shadow that I imagine many people wouldn't even notice, but is but it's something that subconsciously I think would affect people's decisions. And you just can't do the other levels at all. So, interesting. Once you've beaten the level, you've beaten the level. This is totally a game that seems like they'd want you to play it multiple times to unlock everything. You may have to play it multiple times to get all the gold. Maybe your gold carries over on a second playthrough, and then you can continuously grow your stockpile of gold. Although, like, who really would care if you have 10 million or if you have 100 million? It doesn't really matter. I could almost see myself playing this a second time on medium, but unless it changes what it does on medium and gives me different levels, it's not really offering a lot. Being a remaster of an older game, the levels are, I imagine, always going to be the same. The locations of the collectibles are always going to be the same. The enemies and the enemy attack styles are probably always going to be the same. So this is a fine game to play once through, but very few games, including this one, are good enough to justify a second playthrough. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.